Fire up your machine spirits and get the reactors hot. We're jumping in for an episode all about Adeptus Titanicus, our first impressions of playing our first game, and what we learned along the way. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Trident Wargaming, a podcast dedicated to all aspects of tabletop wargaming. Your hosts are Bill and Andy.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Trident Wargaming. This is episode 38. It's all about Adeptus Titanicus, engine kills and thrills. I'm your host Bill, and I'm joined with my co-host Andy.
Yo yo!
And again, we are rocking out with our old guard battle brothers. We got Alex here.
Hello.
And we've got Dan.
Hello.
So, gents, we started Adeptus Titanicus, and we jumped in totally blind, and we actually learned how to play with the help of Tabletop Standard, how to play Adeptus Titanicus videos. I think there was 9 all in all. And actually, you know what? It was quite informative and gave us a pretty good rundown on most of the stuff. What did you guys think?
Well, he's got a good graphics kind of thing where he'll show you the card and then he'll highlight what needs to be, moved over or whatever. So,
yeah,
it was pretty straightforward as he was kind of explaining things. I mean, we did kind of skip through certain parts and then realized we had to go back.
Yeah.
But that's like opening up the instructions to something to build, right? You just throw it out, try to go and do it yourself. So
yeah, we could have read the rule book, but we decided to watch the YouTube videos instead and do it on the fly.
That's right. It was a good learning tool anyways.
Spoiler alert, we got most of it wrong.
It was pretty fun though. I mean, most of the mechanics I think we did pretty good on it. So I know I was having a lot of fun. I can tell you guys were having fun, hooting and hollering on that other side, the trader side. So it's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. I think for the most part, everyone was running an Axiom maniple.
Yeah, we basically just had like a Warlord, a Reaver, and a Warhound.
Yeah, which actually was a lot of fun. I know, I have newfound respect for like Reavers and Warlords, their names are definitely earned in game. They're quite beasts. They can just take a lot of punishment and dish out a lot of punishment as well. And I know myself, like for the game, I tried to take a decent mixed bag loadout, if you will, on my just units, just because I've never played and wanted to get kind of a well-rounded feel on how some weapons work, like the Quake Cannon, some Fury Annihilator, stuff like that. And actually, overall, I was happy with most of the weapons. I think my new favorite is that Sweet Sweep Morp missile.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. I did like one shot firing it from across the table and actually doing like some critical damage. It was pretty awesome.
All I know is I was pushing the reactors pretty good. So, and the my Warlord Titan was definitely on the edge, and I think there would have been a lot more explosions and stuff happening if we actually got that part right. The reactor.
Oh yeah, redlining. Yeah, redlining. We didn't figure out redlining until like the end.
Yeah. So. But I mean, for our first, it was pretty cool. But for our first, encounter with the game itself, and always hearing about this is like GW's hidden gem for a game, probably their best rule set kind of thing.
It's true. How did that mantra go? The best game no one plays.
Oh no!
Yeah,
it's the game everyone owns but never played.
Never played, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's taken us a while to finally say, "Hey, we're dusting off our Titans and put them on the board."
I like how Bill starts the episode with like, yeah, we're jumping in for the first time. It's like, yeah, like as of like 3 years of owning Titans, we're all decided to actually get together and play a game.
Yeah, well, we got some built and some painted, and decided.
Well,
let's do it. I have to admit though, it was Dan. Dan was pushing the Taskmaster here. My back still has the whip marks. Come on, guys, let's do it.
Well, every time we were like, yeah, I was like, let's play Titanicus, and then everyone's like, yeah, let's play Titanicus, and then all of a sudden, a week later, everyone's like, oh, let's get into War Machine or the BattleTech, and then they're like, oh, BattleTech, let's get full BattleTech, and they're like, look at my BattleTech, I've been painting for weeks, and then Necromonda's a big push, and then it was just like. And then, like a month later, we're like, "Oh, so when's Titanicus?" Yeah, Titanicus is gonna come.
That's right.
It's just like
soon.
And I was like, "Man, let's just play." Because I don't play either, like any of those things that aren't outside of GW, right? So,
shame.
Bill is the hype monster. Hey guys, you guys want to try some Necromunda?
I'm the pusher man in the alley.
Yeah, what you don't realize is I'm the one pushing Bill in the background, right? So.
Sure, Mr. Bill. I'll play Necromunda with you.
Yeah. I'll take full blame for Necromunda, but yeah, BattleTech and Bolt Action, that's all Andy's doing.
Yeah.
But do gotta admit, though, within the last little while, we've been able to acquire certain Titans and pieces and stuff just from people who may not be playing the game at the moment.
Yeah.
So we've really bolstered our amount of Titans and Warhounds and Knights.
That's true.
So it'll be fun. It'll be good. I like I said, I quite enjoyed just that one, game that we played, even though now going through it and having some time and actually like putting time and effort into trying to go through the book. I can see it being a lot of fun, and I can see it starting to like we can gravitate and get more people definitely into it because the game, like for me, the rule set is pretty straightforward, right? Like I only found maybe one or two things that I kind of had to check out the wording again. And then after I really kind of read through it a little bit more, oh, okay, slow it down. Let me, figure this out, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. Like Alex was saying when we were talking before, there's not a huge portion for like the rule set in this book, but what they do have in here is actually pretty clear and straightforward, right?
Yeah.
I think when I approached it, I was a little daunted. I was like, just another rule set, and I guess I'll try and learn this one too, on top of all the other rules we're learning right now. And we kind of winged it, and after we got done, we all had a blast. I went back and sat down with the rule book, and it maybe took me a half hour to get through. I was like, it's like maybe 22 pages of or 20 pages of actual rules with lots of good examples, lots of good call-outs, and really plain language. It was actually really easy to get through.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and for me, when I'm going through a rule set, it takes me a bit longer to get through, like the rule book and whatnot. Like I know for Bolt Action, I read that thing for like weeks and weeks and weeks just to get through it to really grasp the game. But for this one, a little bit slower at getting through the rule books, but got through it and it was quite straightforward kind of thing. So.
What I think what's good about the rule set is it's as simple as you want it to be and as advanced as you want it to be, because you can literally get the basic rules. You get movement, shooting, blah blah blah. But then there's a section that says advanced rules, and it says you can play with them, but you don't have to. And then it gets into further like depth, right? So if you're you just want a simple game. You can literally just play the game with 4 Titans or 3 Titans, depending how many points you want to start at. But you don't need, it's not like 40K where you have to own 4,000 points just to build different types of things. You can just play the 4 Titans that you have.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I didn't think that like the weapon set, even though we were kind of all admittedly going into it pretty blind, like, I'm going to take like a plasma on this and bolters on that, and I'm going to take volcanoes here and rockets seem fun here. I never felt throughout the entire game that I was punished for my weapon choice. I felt like that I had like a decent set of weapons, and I didn't know anything about going in. And I didn't felt there was really strong weapons or weak weapons. It all felt good and situational.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure.
Oh, for sure. Like, it was nice that we got to see what a lot of the different weapons actually did. So like when you had like the volcanoes and the apocalypse missile launcher there, seeing what they do, plus close combat, we got a little bit of that right at the end, which was pretty neat as well.
Or when Bill warp missiles you first turn.
Yeah,
just jerk.
Yeah, after firing that warp missile, I was like, I need 3. I want to get one for each Reaver because that was awesome.
So it's pretty cool. Like you said, the just the rules and like the weaponry. You did not feel like you're at a disadvantage, right? You just kind of seen what they did, and then you figure out, okay, this weapon is good for stripping void shields. Let's do that, right? The big plasma. Let's overcharge that when the shields are down to get better damage on a Titan. So
yeah, I was gonna say that it really opened our eyes, like playing that game and seeing what each weapon does, because you could be that guy that's, I'm going to take high strength weapons all the time, but when you get one shot and you shoot that volcano cannon or that bellicose, you shoot it across the table and it's one shot, and then he goes, I hit, and you go, okay, I'll just roll my void shield against it. Okay, my 1 dice, I rolled a 6. Your strength 12 or 10 weapon was useless, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you see the benefits of warhounds with the mega
Vulcan bolter or whatever.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. And then them shooting like 6 shots each and stripping void shields, because you're making guys roll lots of dice, regardless of the strength being 4. As soon as you're starting to make guys roll dice, they're like, stripping shields. Because for a long time I was like, man, apocalypse missiles are the most useless things. And now I'm like, I think I'm going to put them on my warlord every time, because you're shooting 10 void stripping missiles, right?
Yeah.
So and they're like, you can, I think, I'm not sure if they have indirect. I'm assuming they do.
Barrage,
yeah, like
shoot over buildings,
as long as it's in your
corridor,
your arc, your corridor. You don't need to see the guy. You can fire, right? It's just it's like a -2 or something like that. So, but it's nice. The game is nice. Like all that information and whatnot. Like a lot of the information is on your terminals, right? So like you're to hit what you need for your void shield saves, and then of course your damage and whatnot on there as well, and then your movements. So it's nice that it's all in front of you, and that's kind of comparable to some of these other games that I've played, like Star Wars Legion. They have a similar thing where the card's in front of you and all your stuff is there, right? Your abilities and a little description of them. But with this, it's pretty nice, and then even comparing this to BattleTech, and I know Bill can attest to this.
Oh yes.
Very similar. For damage wise, it's not as detailed, but there's enough info and there's enough stuff and info and like damage on that command terminal that makes you feel like, okay, you know what? This Titan got messed up, right? His reactor's messed up, or he's immobilized or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I really do like that. I do like the speed of it as well, because we were, even though it took, the game took a little while, you can tell that we were starting to go a little bit quicker, right? And just with realizing later on that, we were supposed to be making these rolls and that could have caused more damage or explosions or whatever, I can see it in the future, as we start to play it and really hone down the actual rule set, we're going to see a lot more Titans going down, or banners, household banners getting used and getting taken out. So, because there's a lot of stuff in it, with your reactor and the critical damage and all that stuff. So it makes it for an interesting game to see what happens, right? So I don't know what you guys think, but I'm definitely going to be putting this game right up there with some of the main games that I play, just to get some more experience in it and play it and bring the hype out for it.
Well, for sure, yeah. In this game, I think it's a lot about choices. It's all about, do you want to manage your repairs and stuff like that? Because there's orders and stuff that help with that, and it's like, well, I can shoot first, but I can't turn, right, or move, and then it's like, oh crap, and now if I don't move, I'm in a firing lane, and then there's these other things, right, of do I want to try and get out of cover? Do I want to get into cover rather than trying to shoot everything? Because you want to spend one turn kind of repairing yourself, or trying to be tactical and get one guy up to shoot this guy's shields off, so that your guy that is good at breaking armor can actually get his shots in and stuff like that. Yeah. So there's lots of managing and stuff like that. It's a little overwhelming at first, but once, like Andy was saying, once we were getting the rhythm of it, it was just and then you could see the teamwork. Me and Bill were on the same team, and it was hey, Bill, do this so that I can do this, and then it was just, so it was getting fun that way.
Yeah, me and Alex were kind of totally separate entities in that match. It was Alex is taking some good heat over there. You know what? I'm gonna still focus over here on Dan's Warlord, because that's what I've been doing all game, right? But then at the same time, Dan, you were really trying to focus down on that Warlord of mine, and there was some pretty close calls of stuff happening, but it's also on those rolls, because I don't know how many free rolls I got for rolling that dice. How much my reactor goes up and kind of thing, and the option, or not the option, but the chance of waking up the machine spirit, which is also a cool factor in this game, because it can be quite random.
Oh, it can be. So. I learned the hard way. We didn't know that you could actually do a command check to see if you could, I guess, leash the machine spirit and keep control. And first time I rolled the dice after getting shot, and it's my Warhound just goes Leroy Jenkins and runs out into the middle of nowhere and turns right in front of a Warlord Titan, and I was like, well, that sucked. I don't know what happened there, and then the thing just riddled up. It was punished for being, I believe, impetuous. So it was interesting once we started to get some of the rules down. Where if you actually failed it, then it actually you roll and things happen, and it started to get a lot better. That's for sure.
Yeah,
I think
it's good. It's a good one. It's a good game for sure. I know I'm quite enjoying it. And then, I guess, we can talk about some of the specific stuff for the game. Just the way the phases go and whatnot. It's pretty neat that you have, you'll have your command phase where you're issuing orders and stuff to your Titans or your groups.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is that? This is the strategy phase.
Yeah, and I do like how, if you do fail to get issued an order, that's it. Nobody else is getting anything, right? So there's a little bit of strategy with that. There's a little bit of strategy where, maybe you don't want to issue a certain order, maybe, because I noticed when I issued one of the orders to my Warhounds, where he pretty much was moving, doing a double move, full stride or something like that, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I realized later on, I was like, oh, well, that was definitely a mistake because now I can't fire, right? And like I was right in Dan's face, right? So,
the other thing was the sequence of it. You know, if you're testing command checks and you're doing it on knights or warhounds first, and they're 5-ups versus 3-ups for a warlord or something like that, you want to do your stratagems or your phasing so in a way that allows you to roll the highest potential average first, rather than starting with your lower units and work your way up to your warlord. Because if you do fail and it stops you from rolling on your warlord, and you're like, crap.
That would be that does that show the chain of command working its way down kind of thing? If you're looking at it that way, like a warlord's like a 3+, and then a reaver's a 4+, and then a warhound's a 5+, right? What progressively gets worse. That basically shows like the chain of command then, eh?
Yeah, I think that's the intent.
Yeah, the big princeps is leading this whole unit. And just commands are being issued, right? And okay, well, the warhounds on the right flank, they didn't get the order, or communication was cut, whichever, right? That's what it seems like. So,
well, I know there was a spot where the left side of my brain stopped working, and I decided to do a command check with my warhound that got a Moderati killed, so I was -2, and I failed. And then it's like, oh yeah, you can't do anything, and I was like, oh, what the hell, right? But I ended up taking Godlike Contempt for my Legio specific personal trait. That's for Legio Krytos, and I was able to actually ignore any Titans that are smaller scale. So my obviously big boss was my Warlord, and yeah, any Titans that are smaller scale basically don't affect the command check on itself. So still let me do my own things, but it was cool to see everything that had a potential to happen actually pretty much did. Like we failed checks, we failed machine spirit stuff, we had a reactor overload, we had some engine kills, some catastrophic damage happened. It was actually pretty good overall. I think we got a pretty good exposure to the game itself.
And there's some stuff we didn't try because it was our first time. Like the stratagems, we didn't even put those into effect, right? It was just let's get the basic rules done. Let's go and battle it out, right? So
it was kind of a mix, great. Right? A mix of advanced rules and regular with that the how to play YouTube video too, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, and then of course we had the nice terrain set up too with all the big buildings and whatnot, so that allowed us to do that.
Where'd you get those, Bill?
I got them from a guy.
The skyscrapers we had?
Yeah, from a guy, Cal Fox. Actually, I'll throw his Cults 3D link in the description here, but he basically designed these buildings in Tinkercad and then put them up as STLs. And I kind of just ran into him online and was like, hey, I want to get some Titanicus terrain done. Really nice guy. And yeah, ended up printing me out a bunch of stuff and popped by his place just before the new year, and he wanted to show me kind of all the stuff he was working on. And the guy's an absolute wizard with the terrain. And if you go check out that Cults 3D page, the things he has on there, he's got everything from like a total cityscape where like there's 6x6 like inch sections for roads, and then there's wall sections, and they actually like connect together with the building STLs that you can print out. And he has like a full setup. It was like a full 4x4 setup with an actual city, and the board itself, everything's printed, and it just looks amazing. And the last I heard was he was actually designing damaged and dilapidated buildings that had like actual like office building segments inside to show like damage and whatnot. It's quite in depth, and the guy has some really cool stuff on there, and it's not super expensive or anything either. So cool. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, and I don't know, like some of the mechanics to the game itself. It's I like how they've kind of, it's still a D6 system, but they've incorporated using the D10 into some of these rolls. And then you also have your reactor dice as well for different rolls for your reactor, right? Mm-hmm. So, and that's of course the dice that can activate the wicked machine spirit.
That's right. I do like it's a gamble though. I like the gambling sense of it. I know there is a part. It's like, well, oh man, I only got 2 points of heat left on my reactor, and I don't know if I want to roll to push it because I'm scared. Like didn't want to max it out.
Yeah, once you get into like yellow and stuff, you're like, man, I really need this shield save to happen, right? When you full power to shields, and you're like, man, he's gonna light me up. I gotta roll, right? And then you roll two reactors, and you're like, oh man, I'm gonna explode.
It's over.
But I'm gonna survive this round of shooting. So it's like, did I really win? Like,
no. Well, and that's just it. Like my Warlord Titan should have been rolling on that chart.
Yeah,
like turn 2. So because I was just literally redlining all game, right? And it would have made a big difference had we actually known about that. Probably would have changed the outcome of the battle, to be honest.
Well, yeah, we were eventually like, well, what's the consequence of redlining your Titan? Nothing, right? We were like, nothing happens. It was getting to the point where like, I guess we should actually look and see what the rules are. And
bunch of noobs.
Yeah, it's like, oh no, man! Every turn you're supposed to take damage. You're like, oh shit.
Well, because like by turn 2, I'm like, most battle reports I've watched, things are dying by now, and we had like 4,000 points on the table and nothing's dying, and I'm like, why is nothing dead? And we were like, everything's got full armor and full voids and stuff, and I'm like, it's just.
Well, I don't know. Bill's Warhound and Alex's Reaver were hurting pretty bad. Majority of that game.
Yeah,
that Warhound got ripped apart. That poor thing.
We didn't know about like focus firing and focus attacking, and like we didn't really like try to put it into the game because it just seemed like it was more complicated. But in hindsight, it would have been a better way to like kill things. We were also, what was the other? We were rolling for armor rolls. We were rolling location dice for every single one.
Oh yeah.
Instead of just rolling one dice rolling one location dice for all the hits. So, but we obviously learned, and they'll speed up the game because that slowed the game down a bit too.
I think that was the inner battle tech coming out.
Yeah.
No, it probably was, but yeah. And there's a lot of stuff like we didn't have any collisions in the game.
It's true.
We only had the one close combat, which I think, Dan, you missed your attack. From what I remember.
It just didn't end up doing much. I ended up rolling bad on the armor rolls. Yeah, I hit with all of them, but I was rolling like ones and stuff or something, and it just wasn't working out against the Warlord. The
fact that we missed targeted attacks in melee that you don't have to take the minuses to call out if you have a melee weapon, so you can just walk in and punch someone in the legs and knock them over. That would have affected things.
Well, yeah, because like we were kept, because that was the part of the problem was whenever we were rolling location dice for those kind of attacks and stuff, they were always hitting the parts that were good, right? When we were like, fresh. Man, we need that one dice to hit that, his legs that are crippled. He's like on the red part of the, the critical dice thing, or the critical section. I just need that one hit, and then if we were just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna hit your legs and rolled good, and it'd been like, oh, and then that Titan would have died a long time ago. But woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
This isn't. It's not a very shining example of our gaming acumen. And this isn't a representative, I guess, of what we do typically. But it's one of those things we were all just through the pandemic busy, and finally had a chance to get together to play Titanicus. So we're just like, let's just do it. Who cares who's read what? Let's just sit down and get through basically. A rule. And if we like it, well then we'll spend some more time in it. And man, did I spend some time on it this week.
That's good.
Yeah, the messenger pinging was going.
Yeah, he
crazy there.
kept going. Well, we screwed this up. And we were like, oh.
Well, no, it's good though. Like I think
Yeah.
we screwed up. We screwed up a lot of stuff, and actually, we didn't. The core mechanics, I think we got, like moving, shooting, maneuvering,
Orders,
phasing.
yeah.
We got all those correct. The stuff that we screwed up was kind of the minutia, but that extended the game a whole lot longer, and that actually gave us more time to play through the core rule set. And as a result, I think going back to say play game 2 here now, I'm a lot more comfortable going through the motions and what things are supposed to be going. The order we're supposed to be doing things in, but now we have all this added benefit of having actually gone through the rule set in depth and talked about it, and like, oh hey, this is actually just going to make this game faster for us, so we're not going to spend 4 hours kind of fumbling our way through it. Now it's like, I think we will have like Titan detonation on turn 2 and 3 now, and it's just going to move things faster. I think that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, no doubt.
100%. No doubt. And then of course like we just did a straight up fight, right? So games will definitely get interesting once you start doing some of the scenarios and whatnot.
Yeah,
and also using the stratagems. Like I haven't even really looked at the stratagems myself, but they're there obviously, and if they're anything like the other games, how they probably interact with the units, it should make for some interesting combos. Plus the new book coming out for the Trader Legios.
Oh yeah.
Eventually, when that does drop, not sure when, but
hopefully sooner than later.
Soon, yeah. I know Bill's super hyped for that. But I have the Loyalist one myself. I think Dan does too. But yeah, it's gonna get me starting to look at some of these Legios and actually kind of understand now what everything is meaning.
Yeah, just blindly reading into the Legios and
this sounds good.
Yeah, when it's talking about command checks, and you're like, you don't even know what a command check is, right, or whatever, right?
Yeah. We went from Noob City to Legendary now, in the aspect of we've hammered through a couple of these books now.
Whoa! let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
So I don't know, just having fun with it, right?
Yeah. I think once this trader book comes out, I think all you need is basically the rule book and either a trader book or a loyalist book. And then if you want to have extra fluff and play missions, then the 5 or 6 other books that came before, I think, are probably what you need then.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just those. Because I know for a while there, it was like Dragon Ball Z. You got to collect them all to try and get the total package, right? And I think now when the Loyalist book came out, it had every Legio in there. I mean, there's no real missions or anything in there, but it has all the rules for the Legios and all the night houses. And then, and then there's the open war cards if you can find them.
Yeah.
So randomize a mission or a board type or whatever, right? So
that was kind of the fun thing about this. When it came out, I was super against it, and I was like, no, I'm not jumping into another game. And then after a little while, I got sucked in. Thanks, guys. And then I went on the quest. I collected all the Dragon Balls, like Dan said, right? I ended up ordering all the books. I bought all the little weapon card packs. I started buying command terminals. I was like, I don't even know what this is, but I'm gonna buy it, right? And even the open war cards, the Trader Legio dice, which, as cool as they are, they're just terrible to actually read the icons on. I have to admit, the generic kind of brassy brown white pip dice that you get in the regular core sets are so much better to actually look at and read. So just I wish the colors were a little different, but we pretty much have everything, and it's been just buying Titans and buying lots and packs that have come out, and just growing the horde to a massive tote full of backlog. And I'm like, oh god, I gotta actually build some of this stuff before I get too carried away. So,
Yeah, I know I'm in that same boat. A lot of Titans and even Knights to build. I do definitely want to try out some Knights. So that'll be pretty cool as well. They act a little different, but ultimately they're the same kind of thing, right? So that'd be pretty neat.
I've
then, of
been
course-
painting for 2 years.
oh god,
You
All the
have
trim.
real Titans, though, Alex.
I'm ready to go. I got the War Master on the bench and some Knights and another Reaver that I picked up last week, but that's about it.
Oh, you still have that Porphyrion that you left at my house too?
Yeah, that's right. Was that with? I must have bought I thought I bought 2, but there must have been just 1. I bought another pack of 2
No,
here
there was-
last week.
There's one from that pack that we ended up jumping on.
Savaging. One of the local guys ended up getting out of Titanicus and threw it our way first, and he was telling us about it, and we were all kind of interested, and the guy's lot never actually made it to like the public like swap and shop trade set. It was just like ravenous, just wild dogs. Everyone just went at it and just ripped it apart,
Bunch of
right?
hyenas.
Just yeah.
Yeah, and Andy set it all up. So he was like, "Hey, this is my buddy. He's from a different club, but he's got Titanicus." And then he's like, "Here's a list of things." Within 5 minutes, it was ripped apart, and everyone picked out what they wanted. And
Yep.
the guy got paid within half an hour, and it was just like,
Well, and that's just thing. It's like buddies helping buddies out, right? So
yeah,
it was
It was
good
just-
because like it was funny. It was pretty good. I know Dan was gonna just go off the wall with that one. It was pretty good.
it was just funny because like even an hour after, I was all on our group chat. I was just like, that literally felt like we just ripped them apart like we were wild animals. Like it was 5 minutes. Everything was bought and sold, and like we all there was no arguing, which was even nice too, because it wasn't like, oh, I'd like this, and then be like, oh, I'd prefer this. It was just everyone grabbed what they wanted, and that was it. It wasn't, but it was just clean, and it was just crazy how fast it went.
Oh yeah. No, and it's good stuff. Like I know it's appreciated on the other side, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, but like you end up seeing a lot. Like I even thought about it too. I was like, I'm not gonna really jump on it, whatever. I'm like, wait a minute, let me throw this at the boys. Let me see the 4 horsemen in action here. Let's see what happens, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said before, just rained down the apocalypse and took over the lot. So, but it's nice like that in the communities because you'll always have people moving stuff around. You can always find some good deals here and there,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you can find some of those treasure troves where it's like, oh, I'm selling these card packs. Anybody want them? And they're like the rarest card packs ever, and you get them for a decent price,
Yeah.
So, but ultimately, like overall, this game, like I said, it's definitely going to be exciting to play. I think we're going to be putting a lot of time into it, 100%. Even with events and stuff, because there is, and there's a few people in our local community that have stuff for it and have played and have stuff actually painted up, which is pretty great to be playing with painted stuff on the board for our first game. So that was pretty killer. But yeah, like community wise, definitely can see other players jumping in, and considering it's heresy era,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to even incorporate that with events and or campaigns.
Oh, for
Right.
sure.
Like I know I tried it in a campaign before that I did where it was like you have the option to play a regular Horus Heresy game, or if you have Titanicus, you can play Titanicus. And I think with that now, guys, might opt to actually do that, or you actually have a solid gaming day or gaming weekend of just straight up Titanicus. Let's do it,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, that would be pretty legit. I just want to make a comment. You know, when we did play on the weekend, we had a kind of mad dash and cut out a bunch of our counters, and Alex proceeded to like wreck my life with these awesome clippers, which I can only describe as one word, as like just wonderful.
Well, what are they called?
God hand.
Yeah.
That's
Did you
right.
get yours in?
They're arriving on Wednesday, and I'm pretty pumped. I've been putting off building stuff just because I want to use these clippers. It was like a hot knife through butter, and like the minimal force required to like cut, and it was just so clean. If you have a pair, you'll know what I'm talking about, and if you don't, buy one because they're pretty awesome. I used it for about 2 minutes. I was like, cool, I'm gonna buy one, and that was it. Didn't look back.
Yeah, I didn't want to give it back to Alex.
No.
I assemble a lot of plastic, and I have like I got GW clippers. I've got every single type of hobby clipper. I think over the last 15 years worth of building plastic and resin, and these are by far and away the best pair of cutters I have ever used. It is fantastic, and like I've probably built and assembled close to 100 models with those so far, and like there's no dulling, there's no like they're just so nice.
Oh, it's Japanese steel.
Hattori Hanzo clippers, man.
Yeah.
It's not like they're being made by like samurai sorters. It's probably just
You don't know.
cast in like everything else. But yeah, it is technically Japanese steel.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good. Pretty good. I ended up finding mine on Amazon, and I'll throw a link in the description too, in case you're curious and you want to take the next step into model making. Because I'm telling you, man, like I've built models for a long time, and I've never used a set of clippers like that before. I was like, ooh, these feel good, and I did not want to give them back.
And speaking of building models, these Titanicus sets are very, very detailed. A lot of parts, a lot of little intricate parts. So, again, get a good pair of clippers.
That's right. You're only as good as your tools, you know?
So, but like going forward though, what's our next steps for Titanicus? Like, what do we figure? Obviously, getting our stuff. Well, getting more of our stuff painted, I should say.
Yes.
I know I got decals and stuff like that to put onto mine as well. And then, of course, reading up on whatever I can get my hands on to just get the game knowledge. And then eventually, if we when we get back to gaming, hopefully, we can do that. But I don't know. I went with Legio Solaria. Pretty neat little color combo, kind of a speckled green with some red plating and everything. So pretty neat to continue working on that.
What
good use of like warhounds?
What made you want to pick them?
I don't know. I just kind of was looking through the books, and I think it was more of just the color combo and the way the pictures depicted them for just the colors. Like it's a green base and it's kind of speckled, but it kind of has like almost like a white kind of coating, speckled coating on them. And then it was just color combo for the actual Titans. It was different, and then they look pretty neat. So, and then for me, when I'm picking something, it's usually never like what their story is. It's more of like what their units look like, or the minis look like, right? So, went with that. And then I know their rules were okay. Nothing super powered. I mean, they get to switch out. I think a Reaver for a Warhound in their units and whatnot. So that's pretty neat. And they get some rolls to their motivators and stuff for like damage control phase, and they can repair like critical damage to the legs. One plus or something like that, like on a 5+. So pretty neat. Yeah, that's really about it for them. For me, why I went with them.
Have you read Mortis, haven't you?
No, I have not.
They're in Titan Death. They're also in Mortis.
Yeah, you'd be all over it. You'd be loving it.
You haven't read Titan Death either?
No, I'm like way behind on the books.
Because Titan Death is literally the beginning story of Legio Solaria.
Yeah, well, I have you guys, so when the messenger starts popping off and you guys are just talking about the fluff, and it's like, okay, cool, I got the gist of it. It's all good.
The only reason I ask is because like the Solaria in the books so far have been a very characterful and fun legion to follow. Like it's an all female legion or legio, and they've got lots of character to the legio. It's like been a very good read so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one thing I did look up on them is they end up some of their allies, like with the Space Marine legions. One of them is the White Scars, which so happens that I play and painting right now for 30K.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also kind of worked with Space Wolves as well, which is pretty neat. So you kind of end up getting an idea of probably how they are as well, because they would fit and tie in with those Space Marine legions, right? So, there's obviously a lot of material on them out there, a lot of fluff on them, and I'll have to definitely check out more of it. But bottom line, their color, their paint scheme, to be honest, that's kind of where I was at.
Because I picked Legio Defensor or Noble Guard, and a majority of it was the paint scheme. They're white, but they have black accents, and then they have usually a bright green stripe down one side. And their rules, I think, are partly why, because they kind of seem like a balanced force, because they deal with Alpha Strike, but they also deal with a lot with leadership. And when I've never played a game until like 3 weeks ago or whenever we played it, I never knew, and I was like, they seem balanced, so that's why I picked them myself. And it's been kind of neat with the color. It's very, very abstract. Like, it's almost like their paint schemes, almost like it's like
that was the one I was looking at.
Yeah, I know. I jumped on it myself. I was like, Andy's like talking about, like, yeah, no, I got it first, buddy. And but yeah, no, and then so basically that's why I picked them. Was the color scheme, because it was very unique. It wasn't just two solid colors. It was very much weird corner panels were colored different colors, and the green stripe and everything, and
it was right up Dan's alley.
Well, I don't know. I was like, I want something, challenge or not challenging, just something out of my wheelhouse of just painting black. And the
one green stripe.
He's the Black Army kid.
It's white, and some of it's black. So I was just like, I got a little bit of my comfort, I got a little of my uncomfort, and then I got to paint green over that white, which is scary. And then
that turned out.
I know, they're awesome. I like the color scheme, and when you see pictures of them and stuff on like the Titanicus pages and stuff, they're all super bright and shiny, and they always catch my eyes. But they deal a lot with, like, they give +1. Oh no, they get +1 leadership whenever one of their Titans die, because they're kind of just like, one of our guys dies, we gotta get back into the battle kind of thing. And it's funny because I listened to Titan Death. They mention them like 3 times. I'm like, yes, every time they talk about Legio Defensor, but they're not actually in the actual fight. It was just funny. I was just like, every time they mention them, they just reference them. They don't even actually like talk about them fighting. And I'm just like, yeah, they actually talk about them. And then in Mortis, they talk about them once, and I'm like, yes, they're there. But they're like a broken legion, like 3 Titans, and when because in Mortis, it's a spoiler, but like there's a bunch of broken legios, and they basically form like a shatter legio,
An
where
ad
there's
hoc legio, yeah.
yeah, and Defensor is in there, so I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
The color scheme and the rules seem balanced to me, so that's basically why I picked them.
Nice. How about you, Alex?
Well, my story starts with Legio Astorum because I have a full size Warlord Titan next to me, my computer actually right now, and I painted him over the course of about 2 years, and it didn't really line up with my 30k forces at all. But when I first got the original Titan, or the first, what is it, Warlord Titan set, the Warlord set, like the first big box set that they released years ago now, Jesus, I just wanted to repaint my full size Titan in a miniature. That was kind of the reason I got it, and so yeah, I ended up with Legio Astorum, and I kind of stayed with them, the Warp Runners.
Nice.
And I think they came out in like the 2nd or 3rd book, so like they were out before like the last end of the Legios too. So
Yeah, like I like the they're one of the first, the primary Legios. They're not like, what are the, I forget the name in Mortis. They call them the first 3 legions, but they are a major legion in the Horus Heresy series. And the other thing too is they survived the heresy. Like, they're in 40k, they're referenced in the modern 40k book. So I kind of wanted to pick a Legio that was like consistent through the fluff, and that, you know, I could kind of see use in both genres in 30k and 40k.
I'm assuming a lot of the Legios pretty much got annihilated or obviously went to the warp.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to say. Like, GW is so inconsistent with Titan fluff.
yeah,
Mortis is a constant. Mortis is in Heresy, and it's all the way through. But like, you know, out of the blue, in the Kachardan or Chartardan fluff book here that they released, was about 2 months ago now. They make reference in the series that there's like 40 or 50 Titans landing on a planet, and that's the biggest Titan battle or Titan force since, I would say, the Heresy. But it just doesn't, because they don't talk about it a whole lot. It's hard to tell really where the fluff is right now with it. Like Beta Garmin and obviously the assault on the walls at Terra are the biggest the Titan battles in the fluff right now, and there's, you know, 1,000 Titans effectively,
Yeah.
and then a couple thousand at Beta Garmin, and that's it. So I can't, like, for the most part in the modern fluff, it's been pretty sparse because the comment is they're so rare now. But, you know, all of a sudden out of the blue, 40 show up.
That's awesome. Interesting. Rare like those warp missiles in Mortis, yo. Throwing them out like goddamn Tic Tacs.
yeah. Mortis, they talk about warp missiles being this rare thing that only, like, you know, the highest Legios have, and then near the end of the book, it was like every Titan was shooting one, and it was just like.
It's like Oprah at Christmas. You get a warp missile.
Yeah, it was pretty hardcore.
I actually, like, I was just to divert a little bit. I was pretty surprised. Like, you know, that was the opening salvo. So Bill hits me with a warp missile 10 minutes into our learning game, and we're like, okay, I guess we got to look up what warp missiles do and how you hit and all this stuff. And it was like, oh, so you get a critical track right away. Oh, reactors, great. This is fun. And then actually, you know, I was able to repair it the next phase, and it took a lot of the field bads out of it pretty quick, and it made it a lot more manageable. And that's a kind of a running theme here throughout Titanicus, is that nothing is like instantaneous. You don't just like instantly lose. I guess maybe like 6 Pories shoot a warhound, you probably go up pretty quick. But it felt like I was actually in control of my own destiny while I was playing, which was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next time I'll just, call my target of the head, and then fire 3 more missiles and try and kill that warlord faster.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
I'll take those. Like, what is that? That's a 17% chance. I'll take those odds any day.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, overall,
And what do you play, Bill?
I'm rocking Legio Krytos, aka Godbreakers, and honestly, I just was kind of reading through the Titan Death book and kind of just, fiddling along, and I read that these guys fight alongside the Iron Warriors and pretty much just crush planets and roll on, and I was like, wow, I also play Iron Warriors as my Heresy Legion, and that was pretty much it. Looked at the color scheme a bit. I kind of was digging that seafoam green and the white with some of the reddy orange accents, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm in. And that was basically it. That's what kind of sold me on the Legion. It didn't take much, and believe it or not, I ended up painting my 28 mil scale armor cast Warhound in the same colors. So it kind of gave me, a little bit of a reference point of how I wanted to paint it and how I wanted my Titans to look, and just kind of jumped in from there. So
It wasn't the rules, Bill?
no. No. The rules, I won't lie, the rules are pretty substandard, considering, like, when I first saw it, I was like, this is kind of cool, Legion trait, Doom of Worlds, so I can feel the Myrmidon Maniple, and I can trade the Reaver out for a Warlord. And I was like, that's pretty awesome, that's pretty unique and cool. Well, by the end here of the books and all the other stuff coming out, there's an actual Maniple that does that. So it kind of makes my book, like my really cool scheme, kind of useless. And I'm really hoping that the Trader Legio book shines a little bit of light on my Legio. Just because, I don't need an OP rule set or anything like that. I just want something a little more interactive. Like, you can blow up not planets. You can blow up buildings and stuff in the game. And I'm like, ooh, I don't even know if that's good or not. I don't even know what that does, right? It was just, okay. So it is what it is. I've done some reading online, and it's not stellar, but I like the fluff. I like picturing them with my Iron Warriors. I even have little 6mm scale Space Marines from the old Titanicus and some vehicles and stuff, and I have enough of them where they're littered all along my bases of my Titans, painted as Iron Warriors to kind of give me a cool little theme. So it's mostly visuals for me, and just being able to team up with my actual Legion. So
I think because the way it works is you could take a Warlord in place of a Reaver for the Myrmidon.
yes,
If it was just that for every Maniple, I think that'd be better.
I
like
think so,
taking
too.
a Warlord in replace of like Reaver ones, and so then you can have like Corsairs, and you can have one Warlord in there going sideways and stuff like that.
and who knows,
So
they
it could
might update it like that. It's speculation at this point what they could do, but
Yeah.
I suspect it'll be pretty sweet either way. I'm just excited for the Corrupted Titan stuff coming out. So, look for some sweet upgrades. Check it out.
I wonder what that's gonna be all like.
It's gonna be
I'm assuming there's gonna be a lot of more close combat kind of stuff, or maybe some, like, I don't know, demon spew cannons or something, like extra different weapons.
Yeah.
From that teaser they had, there was one where it was basically a spew cannon. It was a bile something. Yeah, it gave you like a flamer. You got like a one-shot flamer and from the head, and then there was a bunch of other things where it was changing leaderships if you're within a certain range and stuff like that. And cool stuff, yeah.
It's just neat the way all the upgrades and stuff have been coming out. I know Battle Bling has done a lot of work with stuff. Same with the Artisans of Vol, and they have a ton of different upgrade bits out there that you can buy. And I know I got a few of the upgrade heads and stuff from Battle Bling, and just little ways to make your Titans unique, and different close combat weapons and stuff. I know they're bringing out a variant close combat weapon for the War Master variant. I can't remember the name of it right now. That close combat one.
Oh, yeah.
You know that one.
The one with the big chainsword and the
Yeah.
big, claw, grabby claw.
Yeah.
Yeah, iconoclast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Icono, yeah.
That one. So yeah, they've got some cool stuff coming out for them, and it should be pretty neat. I know as we definitely get more games in, it'll be there will be more action, more Tales of Glory coming. Like, this is just our first intro. Fumble our way through the rules, have laughs, and now that we kind of have a little bit better of a understanding, we can actually start playing some missions and checking that out. And then when we tell stories and let you guys know, how our games are going, it'll be a little bit more substance to it. And if you've been playing, or if you just started to, let us know. It's always interesting to hear how other people found the initial game. I know there's a few different people that have been playing for quite a number of months now that seem to have the rules down pat, and the games look super fun. I know there's a few of the Titanicus pages on Facebook and whatnot that you can jump on and just see awesome looking Titans, and I think that's probably one of my favorite things, is just looking at all the different styles, all the different Legio out there.
I think too, like, I don't know about you guys, but I haven't really heard much negative stuff about the game. Like, everybody that we know that has played it or tried it out has actually really liked it, and they want to play more.
Yeah.
Which is really, really awesome. That means, guys are staying to play, right? Like, they're going to stay with the system, play it, and have fun with it. And the great thing is like, when we do start getting games going and stuff, there's going to be a few beers and a lot of shouting of engine kills.
Oh yeah,
happening for sure. So a lot of pictures, and who knows, maybe we'll even do some live battles or something at some point. It would be pretty neat, just showing off and showcasing the Titans that we have all painted up, and terrain and battles. Maybe even throw some of the big explosions out there with the cotton and the lighting.
Oh, you got it.
Look grandiose.
Mm-hmm.
Be awesome.
Bill's gonna have to paint his scenery.
It's happening. It's happening. So
that's the other thing, though, is like, painting up your terrain for Titanicus. You got an airbrush. You're gonna probably make some easy work of that terrain.
Yeah. It shouldn't take too long. I'll definitely post pics and whatnot as I go, and start kind of jumping on that. And I'll even have pictures and whatnot of all the stuff that I got off of CalFox, so you guys can see the actual way that they come and how they're set up. And it's super modular, so you can pretty much do anything you want with it. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Can't wait to see that all painted up too.
Oh, for sure.
Maybe get some printed off as well.
What's next steps here for? Are you guys building anything right now for this, or?
I got to go through and see what I actually have. So, I also think I gotta maybe track down some of the cards, like the actual maniples and stuff like that, right? The card sets that are out there, or might be out there. Might be hard to find them, but I'll have to check them out. But because I think right now I got I think I have 4 warlords and 4 warhounds, maybe 2 reavers, and a whole bunch of knights. So all or any of the newer pieces that came out I actually don't have, and it'll be interesting to see what they're like. So, but yeah, just getting them built, magnetized to what I need or want.
Mm-hmm.
So
I basically just have to finish up my Loyalist Legio, just little finishing touches, bases, and weapons, just finishing little weapon details, and then I just have a Loyalist a banner that I got to finish, and then I'm basically caught up with my Legio.
It's awesome.
I'm already looking at Trader Legios. It's ridiculous.
You got 3 Titans built. You're gonna start building another one, eh?
You know how it goes. You know how it goes. Hey, I got 4 Warlord Titans. I mean, I can do stuff, right? So, but
Yeah. I know.
What about you guys? What about Bill and Alex? What's your next steps?
I plan on actually building up some of the Titans now that I'm almost done my pledges, so probably end up building another Warlord, at least another Reaver, probably 2 more Warhounds, kind of double up what I have built already, just so we can start playing around with it a little bit more, and kind of go from there. I've got a whack. I've got 9 more Titans to build, including the War Master and a Warbringer and bunch of other stuff. I actually went snob style. I didn't want to have any knights in my in my Legio. I just didn't want them. I was like, I like the big Titans.
Kind of fits your Legio's whole command structure there. Eh?
Yeah. Anything
smaller than a Titan is meh.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
Yeah. We don't care.
Some good stuff.
Well, I got a War Master all magnetized in pieces right in front of me, and I've got my Reaver, my Pories, and one of those. What's the in between? Not the Reaver, not the Warlord. In between, the big cannon on its
Warbringer?
top.
Nemesis.
I've got one Nemesis Warbringer assembled and magnetized and ready to go too. So War Master, Warbringer, another Reaver, and two Pories, and then I'm done.
Oof.
And I might. I was thinking maybe if this keeps up and I really enjoy this, then maybe starting a Mortis Maniple.
Oof, brutal.
Nice. Anybody have the what is it? The Psi Titan? What is that thing called?
Alex
Yeah, I do.
does.
You have one, Alex?
Legio Sinister.
Yeah, that's the
That's
one.
your Psi Titan.
That'll be interesting to see what it does.
Forge World hasn't. They've been on temporarily out of stock, and I had my email up. Everything. It's been like 2 months now, and they haven't restocked it. So I don't know if they're just selling out super quick, or if they just haven't built or made them yet. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with.
I got
Forge
my
World.
email notice at like midnight, and I ordered it like right away, and they were sold out by the next morning when I woke up.
Oh wow!
They're waiting for that silver lion seal from the Emperor to let it happen.
Well, I guess because they are in Mortis, they do talk about them being like rare, right?
Like super
And that there's
hard.
only like a small like group of them. So maybe that's why they're just like, we're gonna do this in real life where no one can have.
We sold
have
enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
That's pretty cool.
Well, no, that's awesome. Definitely probably wraps up for this particular episode. But yeah, like I said, next time we jump on and start talking some Titanicus, we'll have some more Tales of Glory. And if you check out the Instagram, Facebook, we'll have lots of pictures for you guys to oogle over. And I guess, other than that, thank you for tuning in. Again, let us know in the comments if you've got some battle stories to tell us or your first initial reactions, anything that we should keep a lookout for in any of the mission books or even the open war cards, stuff like that. Let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, awesome. Thanks for tuning in, and we will catch you later.
Bye.
Peace.
See you guys.